Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a special edition of the Kayfabe Podcast. I am out on the seas in the Bahamas. Some of y'all call it Bahamas. I call it what I want because I'm 6'3" and I'm the size of a retired NFL player. So who's going to tell me something? But I have two special guests with me here on the high seas. I got my guy over here, Chris. We just met, but he's cooler than the other side of the pillow. He's a nerd. He does music. So that's why, and he loves wrestling. So I had him on the show. Chris, will you say hi to my Kayfabers here on my podcast?
What is up? I'm Chris. I'm so stoked to be here. This guy's the man, and we got some other special guests also.
Yes, we do. And also shout out to my other host, Wrestling with Honey, Deonne, a.k.a. Mr. All-Star Fandom. Wish y'all were here, but you know, I'm on the seas. But to my right, I have the Super Saiyan 2 of Blurs, okay? Reason why I call him Super Saiyan 2 is because he hasn't even reached max potential yet. We just at 9 a.m. on this man's career. We have the legend, Mr. Mega Ran in the building. First of all, thank you so much for being on here on this podcast. How are you doing today?
Wow, dude, thank you. That's a great introduction. I'm happy to be here, man. This is awesome. Like, being out on the water is one thing, but like being with cool people and then being able to talk wrestling, it's just like the trifecta of all the things that make it a great time. So let's go.
Yes, indeed. And of course, we're gonna jump into you're very familiar with heels turns lately. You know, we were talking about the New Day turning, and then in case for those that don't know, if you've been sleeping under the rock, New Day has gone full heel, and they got some new music. And if you didn't know, Sky over here is the one responsible for those new tracks. Who? Mr. Mega Ran himself, man. So I just got to know, what was the inspiration behind making that track? But then two, how was it approached to you that like, hey, you're going to be making the track for the New Day's new theme music?
Wow. Well, me and Austin, Xavier Woods, we've been tight for a real long time. And he's always planning, plotting, always got ideas. So I believe I saw him maybe sometime at the beginning of the year, maybe before Royal Rumble or something. And he's like, yo, I'm going to hit you up later. I got to talk to you about something. And one day he hits me up. Maybe it was before that, like Christmas. And he calls me. He's like, hey, man, I'm at Waffle House. And I'm like, cool. You know, I do love a Waffle House. And he's like, yo, I'm kind of celebrating. And I'm like, celebrating? He's like, what? Because why are you celebrating? He's like, they're letting us turn heel. And I was like, okay, let's go. So I got really excited. And he asked me, he said, do you want to know how this thing goes with Big E? Because at that time it was bubbling. Yeah. And I was like, no, I don't. Like, don't tell me. Right. I don't want you to spoil it. Please. I want to keep it as kayfabe as I can. I want to be surprised with everybody. And he's like, well, basically, I won't tell you what happens, but we turn heel. And so I initially thought all three of them get together and turn heel. But that wasn't what happened. But they were like, well, we're going to need new music. And I'm like, absolutely, man, I got you, what you need. And so he's like, well, talk to the WWE guys, the music guys. They're going to send you some tracks and give you some, some reference points or whatever. And me and another guy, Sazy, shout out to Sazy. He's a Canadian MC that's super dope. And so me and him did the back and forth rap. They haven't actually released the song yet, so people probably can't fully hear it yet. But the idea was for us to go back and forth, kind of like, I say, like Jadakiss and Styles, like if you're familiar with the Locks or Run DMC or things like that, where you get a little back and forth rap. And I finish your sentence, So basically we're like, okay, so we're going to have a conversation where we're talking about the New Day getting their respect. And so we started writing together and man, it came out really dope. But I had no idea when it was going to come on. Like, I thought the Raw debut on Netflix, January 6th, was going to be the day. So I went to LA, was like, I'm going to the show. I got to get there. Wow. And they didn't debut it that day, but I did run into Woods, like, in a bit of an off-camera segment that went, like, low-key viral. They were in the crowd, like, yelling at people. And I was like, hey, Woods, I had him on my shoulder. He's like, hey, man, don't touch me. I don't care if you made my theme music or not. I don't care if you're Mega Ran. Don't touch me. And he like just starts yelling at full heel. And it was like a really great moment. And so that was like planting the seed, I guess, where it's like, oh man, like people thinking like, oh man, he's not your friend anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like keeping a kayfabe, and then the song comes out and I'm on it. So, yeah, man, it was just a dope experience to be able to be a part of it. Like anytime I write music for them, it's exciting, but it moves so fast, but then it's like so slow. So it's like, hey man, we need this by the end of the day. And then you work on it, and then it doesn't see the light of day until 3 months later. You know what I mean? So when I asked them on the day of Raw, I asked the WWE music guy, I was like, you know, any idea? He's like, I don't know. It's in Hunter's hands. Hunter's approved it, and so we'll see.
Yeah.
And then it took maybe 3 weeks after that, and then the big moment happens. They come out with a new theme, and it's been exciting, man. Like, and I love that people have been able to hear my voice on it.
Oh yeah.
And like tweet me or message me and be like, yo, man, is that you? Like, it really sounds like you. And I'm like, actually, yes. So I'm really excited for the song to like officially come out, so people can hear all the back and forth, all the lyrics, all the inspiration that went into it. But yeah, it was an awesome experience. Long while back, I did Xavier's King Woods theme when he won King of the Ring, and they kept that for a good 5 weeks, maybe. I don't even know how long they kept that. You know, Roman crushed his crown, and then that was the end.
Cup of coffee,
right?
It was a cup of coffee, but I was really hoping to get like some mileage out of that. But this one, I think it's gonna really do some things. You know, so I'm excited. Just be a little bit of a part of this universe that I've watched since a little kid is an honor, man. So I gotta thank Woods for the alley-oop on that.
Oh yeah, man. I just always, even myself, like to see it from the perspective of a fan. Because for me, I came in with you from the Scott Hall freestyle, and I was like making sure I was like, yo, I play it very frequently, and I was just like, so just to see the determination of like how that was, and of course, rest in peace to the legend himself. But knowing it's like, okay, you're seeing this, you're seeing the Xavier Woods tracks, and then now moving into the new day. It's just like, it's always good when you see someone that you're a fan continuing to have that success and it's being paid attention to. So I just, so it's just congratulations to you, especially with
Thank you, bro. I appreciate that, man. It's been a fun ride for sure, man. And like, I never know when it's gonna start, when it's gonna stop. So I just enjoy it. You know, I listened to The Rock said it. He said, you know what, y'all need to just shut y'all candy asses up and enjoy the ride. Like I'm there, man. Like I'm gonna stop predicting. I'm gonna stop these wild, projections, because we just don't know, man. Like this stuff. Like nobody could have predicted Cena.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's like, so
gotta let them cook. Gotta let them cook.
I'm gonna let them cook, man. I'm gonna let them cats cook, because it's getting exciting, man.
So I do want to. That's of course what we're gonna jump into, and I want to talk to both of y'all about that, which is of course the Cena heel turn. Now, both of y'all have been fans for a long time. Myself, I came in the Attitude Era, so I don't want people to be like, yo, I was here for it. I wasn't. I was here when it was The Rock, and I first saw Stone Cold. But I want to know from y'all first. And this is a very big question. What was the bigger heel turn? Hogan or Cena? And both of y'all were there to see that. Bash at the Beach, you were there to take it in.
I think the Hogan one, like, is probably the biggest turn of all time. Just because I don't think anybody saw it coming, but also I think the era we were in, this is still the kayfabe era. And to be able to like keep secrets and things like that. And I just remember all the trash they threw in the ring. Like people were legit upset. Like they were angry. Like I don't know if people are angry about Cena. They're just shocked.
I can see
that. You know what I'm saying? Like we're not angry, but man, when Hogan turned, it was like, you guys are despicable. Like people were throwing garbage at them. Like it was a different era. So just to be able to really see it, I think the Hogan turn was massive. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it was huge. And it's funny, I read so many stories about that, and they say like he didn't want to do it, and then like it was going to be Sting and a bunch of other things, and then like he decided last minute, like, all right, I'm gonna do it, and it really like sent shockwaves through the industry, man. Like it made bad cool. You know what I mean? It made going heel cool. Like NWO literally made heels cool. And before that, it was never that case, So yeah, it was a game changer,
Chris, your thoughts?
I think it's hard to tell right now because it just happened, and even still, like at this point in time when we're recording, we're a little out of the loop because we're here on the middle of the ocean. But as far as I know, Cena has not made any other appearances or said anything else since then, and so there's still a lot of time to see how the rest of this plays out, especially because it's his retirement tour. I do agree with what Rand said about how it was a different era. But my friend and I, Brando, shout out to that guy, we're texting about it early, and he was saying, I'm trying to find videos of how people were reacting during that Hogan turn. 'Cause I remember it, but I kind of want to see the bigger picture. Because right now we're in a different era where everybody can react to it instantly. There's all those reaction videos, people online. You see kids in the crowd. He's like, oh, I'm just seeing people crying and reacting. And so it's kind of like the way it's getting spread is different. But you made a really good point, because definitely the feeling is different, because now we are in that era where, thanks to NWO and then Attitude Era, people aren't necessarily booing the heels for the same reasons.
Yeah.
I do think that's kind of going back to the New Day turn.
Mm-hmm.
The throwing E under the bus is a great way to turn somebody. It's probably one of the most effective ways. So I think it kind of remains to be seen, but it is definitely, I'd say, generational. I'm not sure it'll ever happen again. You have NWO Hogan, you have Cena. I don't know if you could ever, especially because the people are so much more smart and to the way things are, if you'll ever be able to have like a pure heel, face of the company, face of multiple companies for 30 years or whatever, any decades, and then have them be able to shock you with a turn.
Yeah.
So whether or not there's a bigger one, it's definitely very comparable.
It is. It's about the most comparable, because we've always thought Cena was never going to do it.
Yeah.
No way.
You know what I mean? So yeah.
I thought he was going out farewell tour, just straight babyface all the way through. I was like, okay, I didn't think it too.
Give him his flowers.
And it's like you kind of just like, okay, I'm cool with that. I'm okay with that. It's like, hey, stay on it. I'm not mad at it, but it's just like to see this, like y'all said, it's just a shock
100%.
of it all, and it's still kind of just like, am I dreaming? Like, are they gonna tell me like this didn't really happen, or it's like they finna change this back or something, or it's like Cody gonna go heel? Yeah, it was just like, nah, we were just trying.
We were just joking.
But so now that we know that he's heel, we already know he's gonna face Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania. One thing we have on my show is called fantasy booking and stuff. So I know we like to enjoy the ride, but we also too like to just kind of
we love to throw some stuff at the wall.
Yeah. So here's what I want to throw at y'all. Now we know Cena's on his farewell tour. We know he's supposedly going to be making all the PLEs. So what I want to do is I want y'all to predict his farewell tour and who he will be facing at these PLEs. Now we know he's already going to be facing at WrestleMania. So the first thing I want to know is who walks out champion in your eyes? Is it Cody or is it going to be Cena?
This is a tough one.
It is a tough question.
I think as much as Cody's been holding it down, I think Cody gets the win. But I think maybe Cena picks it up at SummerSlam or something like that. Okay. Or is Cena just done? If Cena's done at Mania or around it, then I could see him getting that win and then maybe flipping it back to someone after that, just to get. Will he have 17 if he gets it, or is that?
Yeah, that's 17.
So I feel like you can't be this close to a record and not break it. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of how I feel. Like when you get this close to a record that you may not ever see again, a chance to bump Ric Flair down a little bit. Like you kind of want to do it. Everybody of his era kind of acknowledges Cena as the GOAT. Of his time. So I think you give it to him. And now you have a little bit of a storyline with The Rock and him being a heel. Like he can cheat completely and not be honest and win and still get it. And then Cody can get it back at another time. You know what I mean? We got plenty of time for Cody.
Exactly. So so you're going with Cena.
I think that most likely, and some of this is coming up just as off the dome right now as we're talking about it. But yeah, I think I can see Cena winning at Mania and even cementing his heel turn further, whether that is with assistance from The Rock or just really starting to lean into those heel tendencies, becoming a completely different version of himself, probably new music, different attire. I'm guessing there's been rumors that he might shave he might go bald, change his whole thing, and but again, if someone's gonna be throwing the theoretical current face of the company, the old face of the company is a good person to do it, and that also allows for a bunch of cool feuds for Cena over the rest of the year, as you were saying. Assuming as he makes his way through the rest of the PLEs, then so many people he can feud with. Punk, all these people who are here, and he can really set up a lot of just basically one more match, so to speak, with Cena for the title, and Cena can run through people until he drops it at the end to whoever gets to get that big push from him, or maybe he retires with it, 17. I don't know. But
Maybe.
I kind of can see him winning at Mania because that also creates a whole different story for him for the rest of the year. Carrying the championship as a heel and then giving him the opportunity to face a lot of unique or, opponents we all want to see him face again.
Yeah.
Yeah, so here's my thing.
Mm.
I remember Cena saying something in the interview of leaving the place better than you left it.
Yeah.
Now, Cody's already at the top of the mountain. And I don't even mean just with the championship.
Mm-hmm.
So the way I'm seeing this is, who is the next person John puts over?
Mm-hmm.
Because I also see Cody now having quite a storyline with The Rock until we get maybe to the end of Cena's tour.
Yeah.
And so I'm just like, okay, I see also Cena winning it there. I think The Rock is going to make sure that it happens. He's not going to. He's going to make sure the story ends.
Yeah. Is there another? Is he got more? What's the word I'm looking for? Aces in his back pocket. Something's going to happen, or he'll just show up, or who knows?
Because I still say that there's a third man. That's just
I don't disagree.
I still think there's
There could be a third man.
Yeah, because
it could be Punk. I mean, you just never know.
That's what I think. I also said Taker. I said Taker. Hey, because again, you
just
got
kind of could further build this.
Because if you think about it, this is American badass Taker.
That's true. He's sort of like
okay.
But remember his feuds with Jeff. Like he was a heel during American BA.
That's true.
But Taker really can move. Like I don't know.
He doesn't even.
He doesn't even have to.
He doesn't have to.
He just pulls the strings.
Yeah.
He could just be another figure in it, and he could do a couple. Like.
I mean, that's long-term booking. He did come out and help him.
Yep.
He chokeslammed The Rock.
That's what I'm saying.
I had not thought of that Undertaker side of things.
I never would have thought of that.
That is interesting.
Yes,
I feel like Punk makes sense in a way because it's like he, I don't know. It's like when somebody like runs somebody down. That was like the old NWO motto or way where it was like the person that was going head up with them. Kind of flipped and turned eventually. So I don't know
though, but for CM Punk, I feel like that may be a Stone Cold McMahon type thing, like where he's gonna regret that. Because like Cena, we're shocked. Like Punk, I think like some people may really just be like, yo, like it's gonna get bad, like even worse than like Hogan with the throwing in the trash and stuff. Like I think it's really gonna be something like that. So.
Just based on what I've seen, I know we haven't all watched Raw, so I don't want to drop any spoilers. I didn't watch it either. He just got the fact Brandon and I were literally doing his show during Raw on Monday. But Punk is an interesting choice for sure.
Yeah.
But I think based on what he's doing right now, that it makes more sense for them to be feuding, especially as another big. Who would have thought? Yeah, we'd be seeing heel John Cena, CM Punk, in WWE in 2025.
Who would have thought?
There's no way. There's no way.
You couldn't have predicted this.
I would have thought this was what was happening, even like a month ago or whatever.
Yeah, or The Rock being the boss.
Sure.
Yeah.
Running everything.
Yeah. But you asked who he would put over. I feel like the main event scene is so stacked with veterans.
Yeah.
But if he was going to put over a next level kind of next up kind of talent, man, I would love to see either like a Braun Breaker, or man, there's a lot of cool guys. I mean, Jay, if Jay doesn't wind up winning versus Gunther, there's some fun ones. I think my long shot, it'll never happen, is Montez Ford. I need Montez on a solo run. And then bam, he gets a crazy win against Cena. Like that would be cool.
I will say though, I think this year might be the spark for that. I think Cena may give him something to where it sparks to finally see where, okay, let's give Montez his solo run.
It's interesting too, because right now the Profits are essentially heel, and so that would be interesting, especially to see could you fantasy book? Could you add the Profits even to be a collective of here? That would maybe elevate them to be like, okay, there was Cena and The Rock.
Yeah,
they're a new sort of heel stable, and then eventually Montez. Then that could start that feud for the eventual Montez turn.
Yeah,
and then that could be really cool. Yeah,
we could get there.
We could get there. Yeah.
SummerSlam may be really interesting. I feel like by then a lot of things could shape up and move around. Who knows? Ludwig Kaiser could be the guy.
Honestly,
shout out Ludwig.
I like Kaiser.
I think
Kaiser's great too. I think given that sort of mid-card feud thing that's going on right now with him and Penta and Pete Dunne, even Pete Dunne. Yeah, it's definitely that's a very exciting mid-card level that I'm really stoked about right now. I would also be interested to see. It's not like Gunther needs to be put over, But a win over Cena for the title for him, if he drops it to Jay, fast forward to then, that could really cement him for sure as like, okay, he's our guy. You know, pushing the old school booking style. He's the guy to push forward and really cement him as a top guy.
As a top guy.
Okay, so then let me ask y'all. WrestleMania is done. Cena's champ because we're all going with Cena.
Yeah.
So Backlash is next afterwards. Are we getting a Cody rematch, or do we get someone else that may be kind of like how Punk calling out Cena, sort of almost even like a Randy Orton calling him out as well? Do we get that, or do we get the Cody rematch? And if we don't get the Cody rematch, who does he face?
Cody rematch is too big money.
Yeah, you
for
can't
Backlash.
just do
I hate to say now when they do the not big four pay-per-views or PLEs are usually in other countries, and I think last year Cody maybe didn't wrestle at Backlash. I feel like the top match
no, he
did.
He
the world title,
or
he did a tag match.
No, he faced AJ Styles.
Was that Backlash?
Yeah, that was Backlash. I remember that. Yeah,
I know they did it at Clash, but maybe they did it at both.
Yeah, because I think Backlash was the I Quit match.
No, that was Clash.
No, that was Clash of Castle. No, so they faced one time.
I think they did something before that.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I see what you're saying.
But Cena could not be there. Like I could see him just if he wins, he could just not show up.
Or
like
just be there and cut a heel promo.
Or just cut a heel promo.
And I'm not wrestling for you guys here. Like, that's such an easy way to continue to like push him to be like, because they're excited to see him. Of course, especially if he's doing his last farewell tour and it is international.
Okay.
And then he comes out and just starts burying him.
Like, I'm not wrestling here. You guys suck.
That could be another way to really elevate him to an additional heel level internationally.
Yeah. And I'm also like looking into where these PLEs are going to be, and then also these moments, because I'm very curious, as y'all said, to how he responds to the crowd. And I know there's certain cities where I know Cena was not treated well. When he in some certain points. So I'm just like, I'm very curious, like y'all said, of going to Backlash. But let's say, just for example, like we're going back last year, like Backlash is in France, and it's just like, no, I remember back in 2006 when y'all had this chant, y'all told me this. No, I'm not performing for y'all anywhere. So I can see that. So I'm gonna agree with that. I don't think he performs at Backlash. I think we get a promo. And I think I want to say the same thing for King and Queen of the Ring.
Okay.
I feel like we may get a promo.
Is that in Saudi this year? Have they announced that?
They haven't
in Saudi. They might. Maybe they do a tag match. Maybe him and The Rock.
Ooh. I can see that.
That would be
him and The Rock.
Big money match.
You know, Punk gets his partner.
Yeah.
I could see it.
So who? Ooh. What if it was The Rock and John versus CM Punk and Seth?
Oh, that's big money.
That's. I see, and that's that CM Punk stuff. Like,
and it's like, but can they get along?
But they're both, greater good, Avengers kind of.
And they get along.
Yep.
But where's the question though? Where's this leave Roman? Like, we've been talking for 30 minutes and they talked about Roman. Like, what? Where's our tribal chief?
I apologize for not mentioning my tribal chief.
I acknowledge
because we all acknowledge
where. Yeah, like where does he fit in? Like even with Mania, like it's a interesting thing where he's kind of becoming like a second and third like option or afterthought.
Well, I think it's the build too, because I go back to something Heyman said about Brock Lesnar. If you saw him all the time, the magic would go away. Yeah. And I think because we saw Roman so much during the pandemic era for when we came back as well, like Roman held it down for almost 5 years.
Oh yeah.
And so it's like we do need that time of where we need to miss Roman. We need to go like, where is our tribal chief?
Yeah.
And I think too, even from Mania, I really feel like a triple threat match is gonna come between him, Seth, and Punk.
Yeah.
Like for some reason, I feel that's cooking. And if not, we may get something with Seth and Roman at SummerSlam, because I know that's the one story that has to.
I feel like that's a future WrestleMania
main event.
Eventually, when those two clash.
They've been keeping them away from each other for a really long time.
But with a couple moments that
keep an occasional moment.
And really building that story. And I was actually thinking about that this morning. Just like, man, Seth and Roman, as you mentioned, of like, and that's a big conversation that I've been having with all my friends where we were, fantasy booking of like, what's Roman doing? And I don't disagree with you that like, maybe Roman misses a Mania. Think about how many Manias he's headlined.
Oh, yeah, he's main evented more than anybody.
He carried it for a while.
Yeah.
So like, let him rest for a second. And like, there are a lot of now. I think one of the best things that have been happening in this modern era is they are building a lot of potential people. Like in that last Chamber match, which I unfortunately didn't get to see, but at least the build of it, like, not perfect, but most of those guys are like, okay, I could see any of these people winning.
Yeah.
And it felt very conceivable as opposed to in the past where there'd be, something like this
It's just one
Carlito,
or
he's
two
not
guys.
winning.
Yeah.
And I love Carlito, but he's not winning the chamber. And,
Right.
and so I think like there's just something to be said for, again, this is wrestling, booking 101. Like you're gonna keep building your new talent and keep building that underneath, and maybe let Roman come and go, and then when he comes back, that pop, as you were mentioning, will be even bigger, and it'll be a big deal wherever. Because again, who is he gonna eventually come back to help or deal with? Does he come back and help Cody against Cena eventually? Like I mean, that would be an interesting full circle one.
And we still need our Roman, the tribal chief versus the final boss. I'm not giving that up.
I don't know if it's gonna happen, man.
I feel Rock seems like he might be done. Like
we've had the moments where like if it wasn't this year, like I don't know, man. I'd still go see it. I'd watch it.
It'd be a big one,
but like I don't know. I feel like Rock might be kind of done.
Well, if he is the one where I could see it happening, and this is and I know we're about to jump a few PLEs. Survivor Series. Because that's where he debuted. Okay. And if you had
Rock and Roman?
No.
Oh,
War Games.
Oh, a War Games.
With Roman as captain and Rock on the other side.
I see. Okay. So sort of like two captains.
Okay.
Because like we said, that can't happen.
I know they're trying to do that War Games thing a lot nowadays, but I don't know if I want the Rock to War Games.
Well, no. But that's a good thing about it being the final boss because again, he can direct a lot of that stuff happening. Because if you have him and Cena,
he's got a lot of other guys that to kind of help.
Yeah, because you got like an Austin Theory, you got a Grayson Waller, like you can have all of these people come, or even like a Carmelo Hayes,
bump machine,
and and they're the ones that take the bumps, work it out, and then just kind of demolish whatever.
And the Rock hits the rock bottom.
Because we saw that with the last WrestleMania when they had the tag match with him and Roman. Like the Rock was there, but the Rock didn't do as much as we normally would see.
Yeah. Right.
So I see that there. Okay. But now we've gotten through that. Now let me ask: Money in the Bank. Do we see a Cena match, or is it an appearance?
It's like you said, we got to think about like where these things are taking place now. I don't know if they've announced where Money in the Bank is this year. I believe they said they're going to try to do most of those in other countries.
Yeah.
But an appearance at least. Yeah. I feel like farewell tour. He's got to pop up at every PLE, but he may not wrestle. Yeah. I don't know.
I think we get something. I think we get Cena versus Seth at Money in the Bank.
Money in the Bank.
I think because we need a match. We need a match. If we don't get none at Backlash or King of the Ring,
I do think this is a real opportunity, like I was saying earlier, for Cena to like go up against a lot of people either for the first time or like first time at the same level or these like again a Cena, CM Punk, whatever. Like here's some opportunities for him. He might as well be maybe not defending it every time, but theoretically. But I mean, if you're going to defend it, I guarantee he's not defending it on TV. Let's be real. He's going to be defending it Roman style to some extent.
Showed up on TV.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
I know.
But Brock's made more TV appearances than which is crazy.
It is true. But I think there's going to be. I think there is something to be said for. Maybe he doesn't wrestle. Again, he's got so many bumps left on his bump card, but he's gonna. There's an opportunity for a couple big ones, so I can see him definitely having a match.
Question though, when now we said Cena hasn't had any words, he hasn't said anything yet, he hasn't explained anything. He dropped the mic at the press conference.
Ooh.
What do you feel is going to be his demeanor coming? Once he hits the mic, is it just like stoic? Oh, you guys have been saying I suck for so long, and now I'm getting you back. Does he go Dr. Thugonomics? Yeah. Does he start spitting raps again?
I think
how do you see it going, or just a complete new persona?
I think this is. I think we get a little bit of Dr. Thugonomics, but I think you're looking at like the next level, like how CM Punk hits the mic, like because John is one of the best. John is one of the absolute best on the mic. There's no question about it. I really think John is going to put everyone through the ringer mic wise, just like how he did Roman with Suffering Succotash.
Oh man,
I think he is definitely going to show people like, hey, no, like this is the bar for this year.
Yeah,
I want all of y'all to get here. Whoever I'm going against, I want you all right there.
To me, it's so much like exactly like what you're saying. In the times that he's, for example, when he had his program with Austin Theory, and stuff like that. Like I think to your point, I don't know. I think in the way that we'll get Dr. Thugonomics is going to be again the way he's going to be really strong on the mic.
Yeah.
I think,
Yeah.
and probably a little bit like you were saying, like bitter. I think there'll be some bitterness.
Yeah.
It's a perfect opportunity to be like, you booed me this whole time, and now that I decided to retire, you decided to cheer me. It's like,
that's too late.
And I think, as you were saying, if you're going to get anybody to start just cooking people, and I don't think, again, I think you can't lean too far into Dr. Thugonomics because that'll start getting nostalgia for a lot of our old fans who are like,
and they'll cheer it.
We're like, but like, no, he's just going to be. I think he's just going to be a CM Punk level, like you said, different kind of, but like Mike Assassin, and just start going after people and that's the crowd. And I think that'll be a really interesting way to see him present himself. I do think it will be, again, rumors aside, like a little bit more pulled back into a different image that he's going to present himself with. But it will be like just full on. I mean, you're going to see this. Mike work was always up there. It's just that he sometimes had to play a certain game. And now he gets to play. Now he gets to be cut loose, especially in this era.
Oh, in this era, yeah.
He's just going to be cooking people and really, and kind of like what you were saying, like almost like he cooked the Rock with that, like writing your promo on your hand. Like
it's very few that can see Cena. Like
exactly,
on the mic.
Really,
so that's true. Like, it's him and Punk. I think are the two
Yo.
top. Like when they grab the mic, you're like, okay, what are they gonna say?
Yeah.
You know,
So what you think?
I feel like you guys are all right. I feel like we're gonna maybe a combination of a little bit of everything. Somebody said, I think it was maybe Bradshaw. He was like, "What better time for like we've said John Cena sucks all these years. Like, why not end your career with us saying that?" So now, if he does come back out with the same music, we're going to be chanting Cena sucks again.
Yep.
And so, you know, I feel like he could take a little couple of cues from the final boss and just, you know, very methodical, you know what I mean? Just taking your time on the mic and just running everybody down, you know, in that same way. So I think he'll take some cues from the final boss, you know. But like all that ego under one, you know, faction is a lot, you know.
That's
just like even when you saw Roman and Rock, it was like, man, Rock has to acknowledge Roman. Like, come on.
It's like exploding.
It's like, man, these are two big guys. So maybe there'll be a moment where they bump heads because of some past stuff, and that'll be like maybe Cody's opening or something, or Punk's opening to get it from him.
And so as y'all said, we got a few of these PLEs that will be overseas, and like we said, most of the time maybe appearance or something like that. So the two big ones I know is the farewell episode and SummerSlam.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We know.
This is not. Is this one of yours?
No. These two were just sitting here, so I don't know who those are for. Oh yeah. Oh no worries.
It's all good. It's okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is kayfabe. We know life happens. Okay, life happens, and we just as long as the cameras keep rolling, that's all that matters.
Roll with it.
Because all of this could get edited anyway.
Exactly.
So, but yeah, my audience already know, man. We got life happening. People got stuff to do. So, like,
we're all technically at work right now.
Yeah, exactly.
We are.
Come on, man.
We're working.
Exactly. So, we know SummerSlam. This is the first SummerSlam that's going to be 2 nights in up there in Jersey. So we obviously the title's going to be on the line.
Yeah. Yes.
At SummerSlam.
Yes.
And that has to be night 2, just in my opinion.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But who is on the opposite side of Cena for SummerSlam, especially with the first 2-night SummerSlam?
I think it's Cody. I think you save that rematch to or a triple threat, him, Cody, and Punk.
Ooh.
Yeah, I feel like you definitely have to save that. Like, I was gonna say Punk. I mean, like the Punk Cena. Okay, if Punk doesn't retire him or anything, which I kind of don't think is gonna happen, then Punk needs to face him in a big match. Can you do another bigger match than theoretically one of the big 4? Probably not. SummerSlam. Now night 2. 2 nights. I do think, even if there's somebody else included, probably Punk Cena for SummerSlam. I think that can lead right up into that point because Punk has been calling out other people. He's got a lot of stuff going on. A lot of these guys have a lot of different storylines going on. Yeah. So you could leave Punk doing some other stuff for a while, or he could even be feuding with, the final boss in whatever way, even if it's just verbally, and other stuff. And then you get Punk Cena finally, title match. And I think that might be the way that goes.
All right. So now I've realized there's a couple people we haven't mentioned. When you mentioned Punk and all the beefs he's had, I was like, well, where's Drew and all of this?
Yes.
Oh boy. Yeah.
Where's Drew?
Yeah.
Where's Damian Priest?
Drew and Priest. Yeah.
Like, where do these guys wind up for Mania is my question.
Ooh.
Like, now it's like we've just been thinking about 2 matches on the card.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I have no idea where the rest of that card goes because, the mid-card titles are are at a point where they're legit mid carders who are on the way up. You know, guys like Braun, and, you know, like so. I don't think Drew or Priest or anybody fits in that.
Yeah.
So it's like they got to work in this in between space where it's like, I guess they're fighting. Maybe they do a triple threat or some sort of big thing for a number one contendership. You know, thing.
Okay. Make it mean something a little bit more than just
where do these guys go?
I could definitely see Drew and Punk at Mania. Honestly, I think that would be a great guess, especially what happened last year with him cashing in on Drew. There's still a lot of bad blood there, and then especially like again, we're on C, so they don't know what happened in the Elimination Chamber. I'm not gonna get no spoilers away, but just know that
I know a little bit.
But, okay, we know,
we're
like,
kind of cool.
that feud is cooking up. I think that was the one thing about the men's Elimination Chamber. We saw a lot of potential WrestleMania matches coming out of there. Like even like we said in the mid card title, like we on a previous episode of Kayfabe, we had cast this for Elimination Chamber, but I could see this at WrestleMania. Intercontinental Championship, triple threat, Braun Breaker, AJ Styles, and the greatest luchador of all time, Dominic Mysterio.
All right.
With Dominic walking out.
With Dominic winning?
Yes, Dominic
I don't know if I would have called that.
I wouldn't be mad. I thought you were going to say Penta, but it's all good.
Penta's in that.
He's number two. He's number two.
Penta's in the US titles. I guess. I don't know. I guess he's got stuff.
Well, no. I think honestly, Penta is definitely one of those. You could pit with anybody.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, you just put,
they handed away that Pete Dunne match on like the first Raw he was on or second Raw he was on. I'm like, I can't believe they're doing Pete Dunne Penta for free on Raw for the first time.
Free.
But they delivered. There's a reason that Penta's been feuding with certain people. It's also it's like, there's no way these people aren't gonna have a good match. With Kaiser, with Penta, with Butch, Pete Dunne. I love Pete Dunne.
with Chad Gable.
Yes, Gable, perfect.
Like they give them guys that they know are gonna go.
They're gonna smash. I love that. Triple H has been letting wrestlers just wrestle again. Not always, it's not perfect still, but a lot more of like, let's just show all the audience. You're gonna get people are getting over by their wrestling too. Yeah. Not just, but also with the good storytelling and everything.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah. And I can even see.
Hold on. All right. One second.
Like, that's what I said. Like, yo, we already know, bro. You gotta do what you gotta do.
It's snack time. Hold on.
Oh yeah.
All right. Take a pause for the calls.
This episode of Kayfabe Podcast is brought to you by Fruit Roll-Ups. Not really, but I just want Fruit Roll-Ups to sponsor the episode of the Kayfabe Podcast, as well as Charmin Ultra Soft tissue paper. Because why not? Then we just got one more segment. It's like a little game.
Okay. Cool.
And that was pretty quick.
All right. Cool. He's getting a little restless, but he's hanging in there.
As soon as I saw the shirt,
snack.
I
started pulling the shirt. I'm like,
I was like, all right, let me breeze through this. Let's do all these people. Let's get to this last segment. I know he's getting antsy.
Oh man.
So I take it you haven't got a chance to check out Daredevil yet either.
No. Oh man, you been watching?
Yeah, I watched that in my room. Oh man.
My buddy has the whole season, so he's like, "Oh man, if you need it, I got it." I'm like, "Ah."
Yeah, I picked up with just the first 2 hours. Like they picked up right where
it's supposed to be.
Yep, right where they left off.
Okay. Oh, I can't wait to watch it.
Yeah, no, you will not be disappointed. We're talking about Daredevil.
Oh shoot! Yes, I'm so. Yeah, we were talking about that. I'm so excited to start watching
the first 2 episodes.
Okay, so it's
okay. That is legit. So
yes.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, so we talked about SummerSlam. We've talked about the WrestleMania match, potential WrestleMania matches we see, which again I think will be a stat card. I think that there's a lot of stories that are formulating, especially like now we know who attacked Jade. You know that's going to be there. Of course, we got Bianca Belair. Not sure what that match is going to look like after the results that we've seen.
I don't know.
How much spoilers do you know, Rand? Do you know about? Have you been reading
at the chamber? I know what happened, but not after.
Okay.
I haven't heard anything post chamber.
So we're gonna hold out on that. Okay. But just one final one with this John Cena farewell tour, and then we'll move into our final segment. The farewell match. Now I gotta know who is John Cena's last match?
That's a tough one.
Is he in this hypothetical scenario? I think this is an important part of it. Is he still the champion?
This
if
is up
he's
to
back
you.
holding the title?
This is up
Because
to you.
I feel like there's two different things. There's
Okay.
his last match and he drops the title, or it's his kind of retirement match. And it really, because again, like we were saying earlier, like who does he lose to and give him the rub for the title? That's a little bit different than like, my final match. And maybe, again, it seems like when he first came back, he declared his timeline, but then it seems like that's been a little bit nebulous as we've seen and stuff. And so I don't know. I feel like those questions are. I feel like that makes it a little bit different.
Tough,
it makes
man.
me think about it differently.
But what if it is WrestleMania though? Like, what if we hype it as he's like he wants to get to 17, and he just loses to Cody, he cries, and it's over.
That'd be wild. That'd be wild.
You know what I mean?
That
It's
would be wild.
Like, how much more can Cena give to wrestling when he's got a full-time, Hollywood career?
True.
So what if it is Mania? You know what I mean? And that's it. Where it's like,
that
is
you
the
have
two.
a banger, and then you lose. And he's like, because if he loses to Cody, like, what else is there to accomplish? You had your moment. Like, you fought hard to get to the title match. What if that means there's so many ways that this could go. But like, I don't know. I've missed a lot of Cena's career, if I can be honest. A lot of the Ruthless Aggression era I wasn't necessarily watching. I was in and out for most of his title runs. But like, it's just like asking, like, who would induct Cena in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah.
Like, who do you think? Who's his best opponent? JBL? You know what I mean?
In terms of like, okay, so you think about in terms of feud or legacy.
Like, who's the
Randy
person?
is always one that comes to mind.
So
obviously.
if it's Randy, then I
also
think
the parallel
him and Randy, with being parallel careers, being both in the teens and close to record of number of reigns, I think it's Randy.
That was me too.
Randy.
That was my choice. My choice was Randy
I
Orton.
think it's Randy.
And does that also allow, again, so Randy's not full-time necessarily, but is also like kind of nearing the twilight of his career as well.
It's like if Randy wants to, and if he's up for that type of run, like a world title run, because then it's like, you got to wake up early and do all the morning shows. You got to do all this, like
again, it depends on what kind of world title run, right?
Yeah, like what kind of run do you want to do? Like, I remember just talking to Kofi a little bit about that. I was like, man, how is it with world champ? And he's like, man, it's great. It was great. But like, you got to hit all the morning shows.
You're the captain.
You are chatting. You on everybody's podcast. You're on everybody's interview. You can't say no to anything. You're 5 a.m. to 10 p.m. on, and it's like, does a 20-year veteran want to do that?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And take on that kind of role. Because it's like, once you get the title, like, you have to.
And Randy doesn't need the title.
Make the appearances.
Like,
the title won't make him in any way. He's already an all-time great.
Yeah.
So, but it's the question of, does Cena want to make the next star, or just kind of pass the torch and continue? Like we talked about, I was just reading about Edge, and like, Edge, of course, is an all-time great, but a lot of people don't realize that Edge's last few matches in WWE, he went over.
Yeah.
He beat everybody.
Yes.
He did not put anybody over.
Well, he did get squashed by Roman though, and Daniel Bryan.
He's only lost to Roman.
Stacked.
I think it was his only loss was to Roman.
Yeah.
And now it's kind of the same thing as his AEW run. It's been Christian, and I think that's it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, as far as people he's lost to. So it's like some of these guys just want to go. They just want to play. They just want to win.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And some want to give back. So it's a little different. Like, I don't necessarily know.
Yeah, and also like is how much is that their choice even too, right? Like Cena's probably got the full. I'm assuming
like Cena's got his choice.
Oh yeah,
he's got a choice.
Nah,
I mean?
And Hunter already said that. Hunter was already like, yo, however he wants to go, it's up to him. And I'm even thinking too, like, if it is Randy, I don't think a title's gonna be on the line. I think he'll already drop it by then.
The all-timers.
Yeah,
match,
that's it.
I mean?
And it's like, that's who I want to go out.
Is there like a Cena redemption arc at all? Also, does he go out as a heel, or does at the end is he sort of like in some way, shifting back to
redeem himself?
Yeah, like,
if he does, then he has to give us the third chapter of him and Rock. Ooh. We have to get the three. Because remember, Cena's 1-1, Rock has 1-1. We need that decision.
Just like we were talking about with the Rock Roman. Yes, these are things that hypothetically or that I theoretically I'm like, this is neat. But then, boy, old man matches. I had to say it. Like at a certain point, you're just kind of like.
So that was the thing when I saw Cena. We don't. But when I saw Cena work with Roman at SummerSlam, I was like, okay, there's a way they can do this to where it's like we don't need it all like that.
Yeah.
And it's built more around promo and then other people around it. I think there's a way to work it to where it's like, okay, we can end this right to where it's not like what it was. Undertaker and Kane versus
Sure.
Triple H and
Yeah,
Shawn and
yeah.
Crown Jewel.
It could be more
Yeah.
Rock Hogan. You just stand in the ring for
Mhm.
10 minutes and everyone just loses their mind because it's
Yeah.
finally happening.
Yep.
And then you hit the greatest hits and go home.
And that's it. And again, that's all we're
Big
really looking
entrance,
for.
you
That's
know.
all we want.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
even with Randy, like we said, all the parallels align because even if the championship is on the line, Cena's got 17. If Randy wins, Randy gets 15 and he beats his mentor. So now he's at 15. So they all lined up, and especially, dang it, I can't give it away, so never mind. I can't say it after what happened with SmackDown. But from what I saw, there are starting to line up there. So we're going to see what's going to happen. All we know is it is a great time to be a wrestling fan again. So, but we're going to get into our final match because I know, again, these two cats are busy. We're still on the boat. We are technically still working. So I'm going to give us something that's called The Blind Five. The Blind Five. That is our segment here on our show. And so I am going to randomly name some stars. And you are going to place them in order from 1 to 5. And after you've done it, I'm going to tell you what the category is and name where they were. So, of course, we're going to start with you, Rand. So from 1 to 5, you're going to place these names. Shawn Michaels. Where do you place him from 1 to 5?
Line. Okay.
2.
All right. Bailey.
3.
Kevin Owens.
4.
Roman Reigns.
1.
It's like there's only one place our tribal chief goes. And then your 5th one is Stephanie McMahon.
No. All right. 75.
All right, it's your turn, Chris.
I'm so curious where this is going.
What is this?
I love
category?
this. Good segment. Yes, sir.
Seth Rollins.
Also, 3.
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Is this a ranking, or are we just putting them attaching to numbers?
You
Okay. That's okay. I love this. 4. You're about to throw us under the bus, aren't you?
Hulk Hogan.
Ugh. Look at this podcast right now.
Hey.
5. Hell.
John Cena.
2.
And your number
Giggling.
1 is Paul Bearer.
Ooh. I guess number 1's Paul Bearer.
All right.
Percy Pringle.
So
Legend.
the rankings you have just given is the greatest heel turns of all time.
Oh.
Mega Ran from 5 to 1, the greatest heel turns.
okay.
You've put Stephanie McMahon at number 5 when she started the Hunter of the McMahon Helmsley era.
All right. Okay.
You have number 4, Kevin Owens, when he betrayed Sami Zayn at NXT.
Okay.
We have Bailey getting rid of the hugger
Oof,
persona.
That was a big one.
big,
That was a
too.
big one. That was a real big one.
You have Shawn Michaels with the Marty Jannetty barbershop window scene.
Iconic.
And number 1, of course, which I agree wholeheartedly, our
That is
tribal chief
That is a good one. That is a
returning
good
with
one.
Paul Heyman.
That was
And
Okay, that's a good group.
that's a solid count. That's a
That
solid
was
ranking.
all over the place.
Oh yeah, yours is very much all over. the
Yeah,
place.
I like it.
Is he got the same category?
Yes, he
No,
does.
it's the same category. No wonder you that. And the fuck,
Oh, no wonder.
I was just arbitrarily.
Paul Bearer returning on Taker.
Yep.
Okay.
For Paul, for
Yeah,
some
So, yeah, I'm trying to
mankind.
remember Paul Bearer turn on. That is a pretty good one.
Cracks with the urn.
That's what you put number 1.
I don't know if I'd say that was number 1 out of those 5, but that is a good turn. That is a
But it
good
was
turn.
good.
It's a good turn.
Your number 2 is John Cena.
Okay, I will take that because that is I don't know if I've ever, Hogan aside, had a more unexpected turn.
Yeah.
So yeah, as we were saying, top tier.
So your number 3 is Seth Rollins when he betrayed the Shield.
That was also good and more common. But I would say again, like we've talked about, long-term
Long-term.
storytelling, long-term repercussions.
Yep. Number 4 was Steve Austin.
Okay.
Vince McMahon, WrestleMania 17.
That one wasn't that great. I mean, it was surprising, but
it was not that great.
It didn't necessarily pan out.
And your number 5 is Hulk Hogan, NWO.
Yeah, and that's fair. And like, and personal feelings about that person aside. That turn is big.
Yes. So that is our Blind 5, and that is our show for today, the Blind 5. So we want to know in the comments below, what do you think of those rankings as far as the greatest heel turns? Put them in the comments. But we are going to go ahead and wrap this episode up of the Kayfabe Podcast. I want to thank both of my guests, Mega Ran, Chris. I thank y'all for coming in, especially during this time with everything going on. If you can, real quick, Mega Ran, because I know you got to get up out of here, just let them know where we can follow and support you.
Hey, I'm Mega Ran everywhere. MegaRan.com. You go get merch, Mega Ran merch. Music at Mega Ran Music. I'm going on tour real soon, so hit megaran.com/shows, and you can see dates. I'll be all over the U.S., so hope to see you there.
Yes, indeed. Chris, real quick.
You can find me most places at CKSAUL, CK Saul. Instagram's usually the best place because I'll post some fun stories about what I'm doing out on the road or on shows like on this Joko cruise. And so, you can find some archive posts and everything. But yeah, check that out, CK Saul.
And you can always find me at Will Pharaoh, PHARAOH, YouTube, Twitter, and all of my socials. And make sure you like, subscribe, and comment to this Kayfabe Podcast episode. Thank y'all all for tuning in, and we will catch you next time. Peace.
Peace.